absolutely fabulous.
Bonjour, mon chouchou.
Aloha! My name is Natalie Kawai, and I am the author of Conversation with Mother Goddess. And I want to invite you tonight at Kamina Beach Hotel, where I will be hosting a party, my book launch party, with guests from around the world. And I want to welcome you with all my heart.
Our speaker tonight is Natalie Kawai. She is a spiritual teacher and guide. Born on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland, she now lives in Hawaii. Clairaudient from birth, she has always been haunted by the mysteries of life, why we are here, and our role in the universe. Moved by her intense desire always to go deeper in understanding the whys of the whys, she found the voice of the great mother of creation 12 years ago. Since then, she has studied relentlessly with the Supreme Being in a constant and intense dialogue. This practice has led her to understand why a gulf still exists between our divinity and our humanity. Under the great mother of creation's guidance, she founded LST, Light Speed Transmutation, a radical system to restore our lost consciousness and drive out the last part of our ego. Please join me in a loud, warm, standing ovation for Miss Natalie Kawai!
Thank you, my beloved friend. Yes, I'm so in awe. I'm so happy. I love you all. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm so impressed and I'm so in love, with you all. It's an amazing feeling to be in front of people that you authentically love and that you want to share your deepest core with. So thank you so much for being here and sharing this moment for me. Everyone is absolutely, I love it. So I'm going to start with my personal life so that you know a little bit more about me. As Patrick said, I was born in Switzerland. And I was born the day after my mother's birthday. But it was not a gift for her at all, because it was so painful. She delivered me like in 15 hours, so it was really, really, really painful. And she was a petulant woman. Her name was Daisy. And I loved her. We had some controversy, but I love her, of course. And my father was like a lookalike Clark Gable. And he had a hard time to maintain the fury of my mother. She liked to break plates and throw our notebooks at our head, Anyway, it was a bit of a terror. But anyway, it was what it was. It was okay. And I grew up with boys. One of them is here tonight. My cousin Gino. And they would call me Babar. And Barbara is an elephant character in a children's book. He's like no hiding. And because at the time, probably I was a little bit plumper than now. And also because I couldn't climb the trees, you know, to pick up the cherries. So, oh, Baba. So it was challenging, but it forged my character, you know. I had to be tough and keep my tenderness inside, which made me a, how do you call that? I'm sorry, an iron fist in a velvet glove. Voila. And something happened very crucial when I was 4 years old. In my house, there was a malfunction in our stove, the main stove of the kitchen. And at the time, I was 4 years old, and my brother Michel was 2 years old. And it was a strange feeling. We were like, you know, brashly taken by that smell, that harsh presence in our lungs. We were invaded by the smoke. And I was too small to open the windows. And I was like panicking, literally, you know, you're 4 years old, what are you going to do? And then I see my brother on the floor passed out, you know, because he was harsh. And I had this gut feeling, it's like a Black Panther raging instinct, you know, to get out, to take him and bring him, you know, like dragging him on the floor to the open air, you know, to the door. But anyway, that was just to introduce our intuition and our instinct. And later on, I understood that this is our connection with our divine parents, right? This is how they talk to us, through our intuition and our instinct. At 17, I flew away. I wanted to heal Black people. I've always been a humanitarian, you know, I wanted to heal people, always. So with my first boyfriend, Philip, we went to Africa. We wrote a note to our parents, both of them. We were in the Montreux gas station. That's the gas station. It's like a what's a station? A railway station. Okay. And English, French, you know, sometimes. Sorry about that. And we were writing our parents our last word, you know. Okay, we love you, but we can't stand you. And we are, if you don't want to do that, you know. And we want to heal people, and we want to heal the Blacks, you know, like our favorite hero was Albert Schweitzer. I don't know if in the United States you heard of him, but he was the creator of the Red Cross, you know. And so he was our hero. And anyway, this trip didn't end very well because, of course, our mother were a catastrophe. You know, they were just like, oh my God, where are children? We were 17, right? So it was a big loss for them. And we didn't realize it was a big loss for us too, but anyway. So we went off and we started to take trains, and we had a little bit of money, not much, you know, 2 pairs of jeans and some books, you know, because we wanted to continue our education. I can't believe that we're so naive, it's unbelievable. And then we went into the harbor of Genova. I had family a little bit before Genova in Alessandria, and I told them that it was my brother, because I couldn't tell them, you know, that we were running away from my parents. So they harbored us for a couple of days, and then we went to Genova, and we were trying to find an inn, because it was after the first day of the year, so it was freezing. In Italy, it's like freezing. And so we tried to board on a ship, you know, we were looking to be clandestine passenger, right? Oh my God. That was amazing. And so every day we went into the harbor trying to find a way to squeeze into a boat or something. And one day I hear this big knock at the door, and we were just, I knew something big is going to happen. And I see Interpol, like an officer in front of me, and my 2 mothers, just absolutely stunned and outraged that we had the gut to run away from them, you know. So after the clearance, you know, with the cops and everything, we said, okay, we ran away, sorry. We had the best time of our life with our mothers. We went to all the Genova's Genoa in English, Genoa, and in French it's Genova. And anyways, we went to all the shops and we bought some scarpe, meaning shoes and all of that. And we had a great time. We went to this fantastic restaurant and everything. So anyway, it was good, but the vibe at my house was not all that great after that. So I left. I left about a year after because I needed to live my life, you know. Who else is going to live it for me, right? And I went to Geneva and I became a temp. I found a temp job at Manpower. And I had all kinds of fun stuff to do, you know, caddy on the golf and things like that. And that was that. And for a while I stayed in Geneva and I had my first spiritual experience. I had no clue, no education, you know. In school we would say that we are Christian, of course. We were Protestant by education. And I was going to the catechism. It's like the Bible school, right? And I hated it. So I was making noise, animal noise, and they fired me. So okay, so my start in the spiritual life was kind of a bit goofy, let's say. And then I met with those Christians, and they believed in a baptism of fire. The Spirit would come to you and zing your vertebrae, you know. It sounds so cool. I said, yeah, of course I want to do that. And I did, you know. I asked Source. I don't know what name I gave it at the time, but anyways. And sure enough, it went through, you know, poof. I got zinged by this phenomenal power. And that was this. It was amazing. So in my life, basically, there are two tracks. You know, I'm an artist, a musician, a painter, and I am a humanitarian. I want to heal. I want to participate in our evolution. That's been my motto all along, right? So I first started to learn the piano. I went to the Academy of Music in Geneva, and it was fantastic. I was also going to the university to study law, so it was just like radically different, but my family wanted me to have sort of an education, so I went to have an academic education. Didn't last very long. I flunked after 2 years. I quit, and then I studied the piano. And later on, I became an interior designer. That was my dream forever. You know, I had this vision about me creating decors for people, you know, and transforming their home and give them the warmth that I was seeing into their personality. And so I became a famous designer. Can you believe that? I had my Porsche, I had my Mercedes. I remember the smell, you know, of the leather, fresh leather. Oh, fantastic. And my clothing, super elegant. And I had the time of my life. You know, I was really making a lot of money, having a lot of friends, and all this good stuff. Working like crazy, 17 hours a day, just about, you know. And sleeping pills to be able to sleep at night, and 6 o'clock on my work site, and do this, do that. Oh no, ma cielo, li facciamo così, you know, that's Italia. And I'm flying back and forth to Italy with my workers. You know, I had a creative team there. And these people have the Renaissance in themselves, you know, they know what I wanted. They are creative by essence. So, you know, the two tracks. All of a sudden, my soul was not really happy with me. The making money and having fun wasn't really satisfying me all the way. And I know something was up. And all of a sudden, I started spiraling down, which means that my clients sue me. There was a lot of trouble in my work. I was not happy, a lot of problems. I lost everything. I had to sell. Oh, by the way, I had bought a piano, a grand piano, a B211. I don't know if anybody knows that, but it's just the one before the concert pianist, right? And, you know, I had these gadgets such as Porsche and stuff. Anyway, so I sold all that. I sold all my clothes, and I was spiraling down. And I was super, super disappointed. And I don't want to call it depressed, but it was a nervous breakdown, you know. I had completely exhausted my fuel, working like a nut. And anyway, so it was kind of a hard call to begin with, but it turned into a good thing, of course, right? So the clock had stricken. And when I was in my little room after my large palace, you know, I had a house and everything, I was watching Hawaii Five-0. And that was the glimpse of heaven, you know. And I followed that call. I said, oh, that's exactly where I want to be. You know, it was like a hot thing. My body wanted to go there. So I gathered the last pennies that I had, and I flew, and I came over here. And in Hawaii, I forgot into this story to tell you that I was born with a gift. And it's the gift of clairaudience, meaning that you hear source, right? And I thought everybody was like me, of course, you know, when you're a child. And so people were really shocked by what I was telling them. So I zipped it and I put it in my pocket, and I didn't claim that gift anymore. But in Hawaii, this clairaudience like sparked up, and people would come to me, and they would see in me what I wasn't even seeing in myself at the time, really. And then there has been a radical turn with what I would call an experience of enlightenment. So those here who have experienced that are familiar, you know. You are stricken by light, you become that light, you know, it's an implosion, explosion of you. And it lasted hours, I lost track of time or anything, you know. But I was profoundly impressed. And then when I got out of this journey, I couldn't crush the ants in my sink anymore. No, we are one. We are one, I can't crush you anymore. But deep inside, I was still feeling this thing, you know, this, the Black Panther, the emotional track, you know. That didn't go away. And I still felt this heaviness, you know, this unaddressed heaviness. And that's my pioneer instinct, you know. When something bugs me, I go for it, you know. I want to dig until I find out. And that's how I became a searcher of consciousness, you know, and I wanted to know what this force in us is, our instinct, our intuition, and why we are, let's call it despair. I don't want to sound dramatic, but basically we have this despair to be disconnected from our source, or to begin with. And that's how I became, that was my first step into becoming a spiritual teacher, because people who would come to me, they had problems, of course, you know, and I had my own, you bet. And so I was asking, you know, guidance from Source, and I could really deliver some incredible pieces for them. And seeing the success that I had with my student, I started to gain confidence in asking more and more and more and more questions. And that's what I did for the last 15 years of my life, constantly asking questions. So that's for my personal life. Now, I would say my professional life. As you all know, the 21st century is a century of awakening. We want to become aware of what we would call our true self. You know, it claims, it cries inside of us, and we need to find our true nature, for sure. And we have evolved from dark ages, you know, a tooth from a tooth for a tooth, to the teaching of Jesus Christ, who brought us to consciousness of love, to the new age, and the realization that our thoughts have creative power, you know, that we can tweak our thoughts and create what we want. And then we became big into the mindset, you know, which is great, but it has its limitation. And then we had New Prophet, who taught us the now moment, you know, being present and feeling our source, you know, into the presence. When we accept it, then we can be present. So we have grown in an amazing way, you know. It's amazing when we think about the beginning of our history, you know, as long as we can stretch it back down, you know, we have really, really grown. But there is still something nagging into us, you know, there is a missing link. We all feel it. Whether we do or we don't, consciously we feel it. And that's this missing link that I want to talk to you about. We have a hole in a whole, W-H-O-L-E and H-O-L-E. I love English, you know, I can, I can go wild with that. And this W went down for women, yes, and for the will. And the will is this notion that not a whole lot of us have heard because it's been hidden, you know. The consciousness of the goddess went away for a long, long, long time. And that was meant to be. We needed to have an imbalance in our structure. If we had come out of source and just be the same, so what would have been the point, you know? So the mother of creation had been denied, right? So we have an aspect which is the spirit, and we have another aspect which is the father aspect, the spirit, and then we have another aspect which is the mother, and with the will, right? So deliberately the mother had chosen to be knocked down temporarily, right? So that we can find that we feel this pain inside of ourselves, and that pain would kick our butts, literally, you know, that we would have to find out through that pain. It's like we would have created, you know, a pathway of pebble. Our pain is our pebbles, you know, and we need to find our way back home. So the feminine energy is not fully accepted within. We know of it. We know that it's the emotional feminine energy. We know what it is, but it's still not awakened, right? So the major problem in this, I would call it lack of awakening, is that because when the spirit pushes the will away, because he didn't like what she was reverberating to him, and he needed to have space to experience who he was, right? Then this energy got replaced by guilt, right? And whether we know it or not, we are all impregnated with guilt. And most of the time we don't feel it, fortunately, but it's present. And guilt created patterns and created the program ego, right? And that's in our way. So we need to understand that guilt replaces consciousness, right? So if consciousness is love, which is what it is, right, then we are missing a portion of our love, right? That's why we can't we are all loving, there's no question, you know, but we can be going much further. It can be a natural thing to do, you know, a natural thing to be. We have this base of love, we lose a part of it, and then we replace it with guilt. This guilt creates ego. We are very attached to the ego because it's our fundamental resource, you know, that's all we have to begin with, right? So we believe in our ego instead of believing in our source, because we don't have our source, we don't know our source, and we don't trust our source because we feel we've been pushed away, and we put resistance, and we are very attached to our ego. And there is nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong at all. But the problem is, if we come from our best intention, and we all come from our best intention, we still have an ego. And the ego has got its agenda. And that's the pitfall in our humanity. If we don't fill up that gap of consciousness, if we don't restore the consciousness of the Great Mother, you know, then we are stuck. Because even though we want to be loving, we want to give, and we do to a certain degree, but we continue to spread forward this notion of the ego, right? So it's like, I don't find a good example right off my bat, but if we have a portion of who we are, if we just have one foot, right, then we limp, and we don't know we limp because we're used to limping. When we have our 2 feet grown up, then maybe this is not really a great example. Anyway, you got my picture, right? So we are now in this full-blown consciousness new era. The new era is when we are going to retrieve our will, you know, when we are going to become aware of our mother, and we're going to accept her, because we are defiant, of course, you know, we were, how do you say that? I'm sorry, I just froze for a second. Yeah, we are orphan of our mother. We don't know we have a mother, right? And that's why in our lives we don't know we're doing that, but we have a tendency to project our mother on our loved one, on our children, even on our man, you know, as mother, as a female. I know I did that in my life often, right? So the thing is, we have an ego, and with the mindset, the control of our mindset, which is progress, no question, but it's not far enough. We have to go a little further. And we have to become our source. And this is a complete foreign notion for a lot of us, because in Christian tradition, we don't think we deserve to go there, We think that we have to kind of redeem ourselves, that we have to pay our dues to our creators and all that. And we don't think that we're entitled to be that source. We are okay with mimicking source. That makes us feel closer, with having positive thoughts and positive attitude. And we can also, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Anyway, so that's this. And then we have the now. We have all these different things, and the now is the new game player. So with the now, it's like we stick our foot into the doorway of our source, which is great. It's the best thing we can ever do, right? So we have our foot stuck in the door, and then we have this call of the source showering. It's like a shower of source, and we feel great. And that's when we meditate, or we do whatever technique is our favorite technique, right? We feel this shower of our source, and that's why we feel great, right? But it's only temporary, because when we stop meditating or we stop doing whatever we do, we can't sustain the now, because we don't feel that we deserve to sustain the now, right? And it takes a little bit of work to sustain the now, right? So the denial of the mother created the guilt. And its procession of patterns is like that bubble inside that is festering until it explodes in our face, right? The denial is our destructor. And that's what happened in Paris, That's a huge blow that we just had a few days ago. I still feel very stricken by that. And we see it all the time, in the United States. We live an amazing situation, We have so much out here, it's amazing. But where the world is a different chapter. And there's a lot of suffering in our world, right? And all of that is due to the denial, right? This denial side of us that we can't figure out because we don't know it, right? Is holding us back. And that triggers, the Hitlers and the ISIS and all of that. They amass that energy and then they blow it in our face, right? So it's a lesson for us. That's why I wrote this book, right? And to familiarize people with the teaching of the Great Mother, because we don't know much about her. We have learned this and that. I didn't know anything, I had to dig with her, and so and she explained to me, what had happened in the beginning and all that. And that's all I did, asking her, dribbling with questions all the time, right? So we have to now make a new step in our evolution, We have to recover that will, that lost consciousness. And it's a phenomenal experience. There's nothing better. I know it because I live it, right? So we have to stop being the puppet of our ego, right? And the collective unconsciousness imprinted into the program ego. And that's what we have to do. And that's why I wrote this book, and I am so happy to deliver this book now in the world. Voila.
Okay, so now we are going to hear Natalie play one of her songs that she wrote specifically for this occasion. first and foremost, my first question is what inspired you to actually write Conversations with Mother Goddess?
It's been something marinating in me for about 15 years. I've had so much accumulated knowledge that who the mother is. We need to know our mother now.
Wonderful. And take us back to Europe. First off, how many languages do you speak, if I can ask? And which languages are they?
Okay, so I speak French, and then I had to learn German. In Switzerland, we have to speak German. I mostly forgot it. And then I speak English and Italian.
4 languages.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so back in maybe in your 20s, when you were asking all these questions about the universe, about life, about the meaning of the world, talk about some of those questions that you asked, and then how do some of those questions apply to us today in response of maybe some of the political challenges that we face as a globe today? Ask and parallel the two if you could.
Okay. So basically, in the world, it's like when you are. I was talking about the experience. When you have one leg, which is the leg of the father, it's good, but it's not good enough. You're not solid. And if we don't have the other leg to build our assise in French is like our steadiness, right? Then we are limping, and we don't know we're limping, and we have this tendency to always compensate, because we're in a mechanism of compensation. We compensate with our thoughts because that's all we know. It's not wrong, it's just we don't know anything else, right? So what I see in the world all the time is that people have those partial solutions. They abound with love when they are teachers and healers, and when they are politicians, you can feel their ego. It's really sweet, but this is the way, So as long as we don't let go of our ego, we're going to be in serious problem. That's what I see.
Wonderful. You are maybe one of the most humble people that I've ever met. And I knew you for several months before I learned that you were a concert pianist. And wasn't she amazing? Let's give her a big hand. That was incredible. So I've learned that you are a human being of many gifts. And I know maybe this might be a little bit uncomfortable, but talk about your gift of being clairaudient. Talk about what that means and how you can help people better understand themselves as a result of your gift.
Yeah, it's like I have a telephone line with a source, and when people have a problem, I can ask for where is this problem coming from? Where is this problem coming from, right? And I have this, I think it's amazing, I feel so blessed, to have the capacity to go all the way down to the root of a problem, right? And then when we know the root, then we can transmute it. Transmutation is really the transformation of a pattern into pure love, into pure power. Love, power, same thing, right? And when this is transmuted, we own more pieces of ourselves, and we can reconstitute the puzzle of our consciousness. And we have a broader picture each time, So whenever we do this exercise of transmutation, the pain, like I was saying, it's a tracking system. It's a guidance system, But in our world, we have learned to, I don't want to be in pain. I want to take an aspirin and get out. And we don't know that by pushing the pain away, we push ourselves away, right? And we can't grow. So that's what I discovered.
Wonderful. So with this gift and your ability to serve and help others, heal their souls, solve their problems, talk about how people can get in touch with you. Do you offer a complimentary 30 to 60 minute coaching consultation? How can they get in touch with you to redeem that or schedule that with you? And also, as a professional keynote speaker, you shared some amazing words of wisdom. How can people get a hold of you if they know of other organizations that could book you to speak? And I don't know if you have evaluation sheets, but if you could talk briefly how they can get a hold of you to either redeem your complimentary consultation or for speaking.
Yes, I would be more than happy to offer that to anybody in this room. A 30 minutes free. No, that's not free. Complimentary. Complimentary. Free is a cheap word. I learned that from Patrick. So a complimentary session, the discovery, I call it a discovery session. And you just have to type in you Google nataliekowai.com and then I'll appear out and you'll have my information.
And also, if someone wants to do that tonight, you can just write on the backside of your business card, just write the word coach, and then hand that to Natalie tonight. and then she will follow up with you to schedule that complimentary consultation. So the last question before we open up to our studio audience, the holidays are right around the corner. I mean, December is here. The book makes for a fantastic Christmas gift. It makes for a great Hanukkah gift, an amazing New Year gift, especially with the turmoil of all of the world. So what special are you offering tonight? If they purchase copies of the book, if they buy multiple copies, can they get a third book, a third, fourth, fifth book free? Talk about that if you could.
Oh, absolutely. If they buy 2 books, the third is free. Isn't that a good bargain?
Okay, so and this is in addition to what you've already purchased. So buy 2 more books for $50 and get a third book free. And then you've got 1 for yourself and then 3 to give away at Christmas. So let's, before our, come back from our commercial advertisement real quick, but before we do that, let's go to those of you in the audience. Who has questions for Natalie Kawai on anything that she has spoken about tonight? Go ahead with questions.
Thank you so much, Natalie. It's an honor to be here. Congratulations. I know all of us are reeling after not just Paris, but other attacks that have been taking place. What is your advice to us as awakening beings and people of compassion, how to make it better?
Yeah, I totally understand your question. You know, we feel so deprived. We are all loving people and we want the best for our companion of life and for the world, right? So for us to really be a testimonial of this awakening, we have to awaken. So we have to awaken. We have to have the courage to say, okay, what can I do to really help? Because when we really evolve to the point of, compensating for that place, that piece that we are missing, miracle happen, literally. So that's what I would recommend.
My name is Michael Drescher. I've worked with Natalie. I've been blessed to work with her for 10 or 12 years now, which is pretty amazing. Once you kind of accept the journey that you're on, it doesn't matter really what any success that you've had in that kind of the outside life. It's all about the inside. But I'm still on my path for self-realization, and maybe Natalie, you could speak to that a little bit about how do we know when we're progressing? What are these benchmarks? Because I think we're always a little bit in the dark as we try and come close and closer. Thank you.
The benchmark are our personal well-being, right? This is really the ultimate benchmark. We have to feel our own personal love into our heart and our own personal love into our body, which is challenging because we are in discrepancy with our body. We don't know why we are incarnated, and we feel trapped into a body, whether we know it or not. We can like it. There are a lot of advantages to be physical, for sure. But we don't feel happy to be trapped into a physical body. We don't feel that we can express. So we have to feel this well-being. And when you do this work of recovering the will, recovering this missing part, that's what you start feeling first, Everybody, we have our challenges. We evolve, and we start feeling better a little bit, and then more and more. So it's like you invest into a company, you own 50% of the shares. And then when you start recovering yourself, the source, then you have 60% and you start feeling better. You own more, right? And then 70%, 80%, 90% until 100%, right? And another person had asked me this question, so when we are self-realized, can we impact other people? You bet. It's like an incarnation of source in our physical body. Literally, we are propelling this energy every step of the way. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to be teachers or healers. I mean, those who are, of course, are. But a person who is totally self-realized has a major impact. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say how grateful I am to be part of this celebration. Thank you for inviting us. And my question is, which is very puzzling to me, with God, we know that we know how to communicate. We practice that for centuries, right? How do we connect and communicate with Mother Goddess?
That's a great question, Susanna. So basically, we have to track her down, because it's not the process of the thought. So it's not that we're going to connect with the goddess through prayers or meditation. That's not going to work, right? We have to gain ourselves to communicate with her, right? Because precisely this part of her, this part of ourself is gone, which is her. So how do we communicate with something we don't have, right? It's challenging. And I was able to communicate because I had a soul agreement. I'm sure everybody knows what a soul agreement is. So I had a sort of a special treat, so to speak. But basically, in order to communicate with Mother, we have to enter our heart. And we have to enter our heart big enough, meaning, I want to say deep enough, not big enough, but deep enough, where we start to feel her energy. And it's going to be emotional. Oh, you're going to feel this emotional energy, right? And you don't necessarily have answer directly from her. You can develop that later on. But the first connection with the Mother is an emotional connection. You feel it into your heart, right? And then you go deeper into your body. I feel that all the time. I feel this churning. Yeah, so we have to cultivate ourselves. We have to regain ourselves, complement ourselves. And then we're going to start being able to communicate with her. Does that make sense? Okay.
I'm so proud of you, Natalie. To have the courage to put what you're feeling in words and share it. Building on what you just said, if we're always operating habitually from ego or from our minds, and then we touch that emotional part, it's really scary. What can we do to calm those fears so that we can let it go through our body? Because you look so calm. Most of us try, but we're in our head. So how would we calm that fear that comes up as we touch our emotions?
So personally, I have developed a system that I'm absolutely willing to share with. It's called light speed transmutation. It's a breathing system. When you are in pain or you are in a big emotion, instead of putting it aside and starting to mentalize, as I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to feel good, And of course we're going to feel good because, it monitors the thought, the emotion, monitor by our feelings, right? But yes, we are tremendously afraid of our emotion because we don't know how to deal with them, right? So we need to learn how to deal with our emotions, right? And I wrote a book on all that, right? It's a book prior to this, so it's kind of a booklet. So everybody's welcome to it. It's not that I want to sell books, but I want to help, right? So I have a method for that. And I'm sure there are other methods, but I just know mine, right? But basically, we can't just eradicate the emotion with, we can talk about, and I'm not denigrating those techniques by any means. I'm just saying that they are partial, right? They can go only to a certain limit. But basically, if you use, I don't even want to name them, but if you use a technique to feel better, right? It's just a technique. You haven't regained yourself. Then you feel better, but you don't really feel better. Does that make any sense? Right. So I incline everybody to be honest with what they feel. And when they feel really emotional and can deal with it, then give me a call. I will teach you how to deal with it. I don't want to enter into a teaching class tonight, which I would love to do, but it's not really the purpose. But I have a great technique. Yes.
As one of those people that has called Natalie saying, help! I know this. New Age, there are so many books, there are so many people talking about New Age. How are those New Age techniques different than the information that you're presenting to us tonight?
So the New Age, I'm going to do a technical comparison, The New Age is like the diskettes. And we are streaming, we're not disquetting anymore. So it's old technology. It's really old technology. It works, there's no question. I'm not going to put it away and incriminate it. But we have evolved, so we have to go a little further. Yes. Yeah. So it worked where we were at that time. And I would say, okay, what's up now? What's up? What do I need to do? Of course I'm going to do it. Of course I'm going to do it. Well, there's a lot of reluctancy, because we're attached to our ego. Everybody, myself, everybody was attached to our ego. That's all we know about ourselves to begin with, right? So that's what it is.
Natalie, I'm so proud of you. And your book is phenomenal. I can't tell you how much I gain every time I pick it up and read it. And I'm on my second round of reading your book, and I have to tell you, it's like building layers of clarity and really bearing that wisdom deep into my being. And I want to thank you for that. So my question is, when we're self-realized, will it open up others to want this for themselves? And meaning, can we really influence bringing humanity into the new era?
So I'm going to get a kind of a metaphorical answer, right, where if you are orange from here to here, you can transmit orange, right? But if you are not orange from bottom to waist, then you transmit halfway, right? So self-realization is being fully orange. It can be another color. I love orange. So when you have all the pixel of orange inside of you, wow, you are discharging to the world, right? And people in my community, I see my friends and their spouse and whatever, how it impacts them, all the time. So self-realization is really the biggest hope for humanity, right? When we realize ourselves, we are going to communicate this desire for other people to realize, what did you do? What did you do? I did that. Then let me that, and I feel terrific. And this is how we are going to evolve.
Hi, Natalie. Thank you for inviting me.
Sure.
So conversations with Mother Goddess, how does this relate to men?
Oh, that's such a good question. I love this. But basically, the will is inside men as well as it is in women. It's not just a women thing. When we are born with the will of the mother, with the missing will as well. But whether we're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So everybody, Michael is one of my dearest students. He's a man, So men are a little bit hesitant, because they have built their skill by fixing things, by going to war, by going to chase the game, And so they are more directed to action. And they don't like to feel because it scares them. What? What is that? So to entice men to feel and to cherish them for that is the best thing we can do, to really create a comfortable environment for men to be safe to starting expressing their feelings, And that's going to evolve.
Hi, congratulations, Natalie. I'm so very proud of you. And I've been working with Natalie for many years and I feel very blessed. And I don't know if I will make it without her at this point. So I want everybody to work with her because it's wonderful and I help you so much. And so my question is for the people who have become aware of this information, find it to be true, how would you say it is the best way to share it?
So the best way to share is to share your experience, right? Through stories. Story is really a communication thread into our soul, right? That's why people are always touched by stories, because it speaks about our experience, whether this lifetime or another, and we carry our experience, our baggage forever, right? So when you share your experience, you share your soul, and that touches people. That's why people always love stories, right? So share.
Congratulations, Natalie. I think we worked together for like almost 10 years, or maybe 10 years. I'm down out of Erie. And Natalie has helped me through the toughest times of my life. And I'm here because of Natalie. So I don't have a question. I just wanted to tell everybody how much a difference she's made in my life. And it's quite an experience. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Alfreda.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Natalie. I know this is a very heartfelt project for you, and thank you for inviting us to join you to celebrate this. My question is, how do we recognize when we're coming from a place of ego in life or when we're coming from a place of source?
That's a very good one, and that's a very tough one. Because in the example that I was giving, you know, if you are orange, halfway, and the other side is unconscious, ego, right? It's going to bounce in and out, right? The answer to that is you have to get your orange a little further down. Up here, down here, and down here, right? So then you're going to get into this obviousness, right? You're going to know when you flow from source and when your ego starts to throwing you a banana peel or a pseudo answer, right? So it's really hard to begin with to know what we are when we are half orange, you know, and we oscillate back and forth, right? And there is nothing wrong. We can do all the mistakes in the world. That's fine, you know, but we have to awaken, right? Awaken to that self that is missing. And then we're going to know. I know exactly when my ego starts to kick in, you know, just I don't have to, it doesn't take me very long, right? So we establish such a sense of self based on source that we know exactly when we operate out of not source, right? Does that answer the question?
All right, I think that's all of the questions. Please join me in a loud, warm standing ovation for Miss Natalie Kowai! Just listen to Natalie Kowai tonight deliver an amazing keynote speech in front of a packed house. Incredible woman, an amazing message of finding wholeness, finding your soul, putting aside the stress, the fear, the anxiety that we face in today's political world. And she helps us really gain our soul, our mind, our consciousness back. If you have pain in your life, if you have sorrow in your life, anxiety or stress, look no further than Natalie Kowai. She's an amazing speaker, an amazing coach, and she'll help you reaffirm that creativity that your soul has always known that's been within inside you. So can't say enough about her, one of the most amazing speakers and coaches that I've known. Her book, Conversations with Mother Goddess, is absolutely brilliant. Make certain you pick up your copy today.
Aloha, my name is Arabella, and I have had the honor of working with Natalie for a number of years. And the process has been fascinating. And it is very much a process. I went through denial, no, this can't be true about me, and then guilt, oh, it is true about me, and then acceptance. And what I have learned has been absolutely amazing. Natalie has devoted her life to helping people live a more fulfilled life and to help our understanding of being humans and being divine at the same time. She truly is amazing.
Hi, I'm Susanna Adsat. I've been working with Natalie for about approximately 4 years or so. Prior to that, I've experienced all kinds of different methods of through meditation and New Age methods, I guess, of awakening. But it wasn't until I worked with Natalie that I really had a really great breakthrough in the emotional level. I have to say that the process has been very subtle. The awakening is very, very, very subtle, but it's very effective. It's powerful. My life has changed completely from the time that I started working till now. There's a lot of manifestations, like I said, very subtle, very slow, very steady, but very grounded. manifestations of things that I've always envisioned my life to be, and it's happening now. So.
My name is Lila Berg. I'm a friend of Natalie's, and I was also an author. And so when I was here listening to her speak, I was so impressed with the way in which she's able to translate what she feels into words that all of us can understand. I'm so proud of what she's accomplished, and more importantly, I'm proud to be your friend. Thank you, Natalie.
Hi, I'm Shireen Kanahisa, and I just listened to Natalie Kawai give her wonderful performance at her book signing event, Conversations with the Mother Goddess. And I wanted to give my testimonial. I have stage 4 cancer, and Natalie has helped me so much to transmute all the amazing, crazy emotions that come along with that experience. So I don't think I could have healed to this extent without her help. And it's phenomenal. It's something that I don't think you would experience without guidance and unless you had a special gift like she does. And it's really indispensable. So please give it a try if you're at all interested in really going the next step and getting to yourself. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Natalie.
Hi, I'm Nancy Kaysen, and I'm here celebrating Natalie's book launch, and I can't say enough about my experience with Natalie. I have worked with her for many years, and coming here tonight is just a true testament of the evolution and the journey that we're all on. And hearing her speak about her life experiences and her book has just reinforced for me just the direction that we all need to go as a human race. And I applaud her and I celebrate her, and I'm totally thrilled. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Drescher. I've worked with Natalie now for about 12 years, and frankly, I've had a lot of success. I had a lot of success the way that we kind of defined success financially before I met Natalie. And I've been very fortunate that way. But I really always knew there was something beyond that. And she's really helped discover that. I think once you understand the journey we're on, the real journey, and she has so many gifts to share, to find that, for that self-well-being, for that sense of knowing why you're here and what you're doing. And it's actually the most fascinating, fun, and beneficial thing I've ever been involved with. It's just itself. It's nothing that's out here. She teaches you what's in here. And that's what makes us all different, yet all the same and together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Francesca, and I'm a healer. I've been working with Natalie for about 6-7 years, and it's been very eye-opening for me, and she's been helping me so much self-realize myself and being a stronger person, deal with my issues, and she's a true blessing in my evolution, and I'm greatly thankful. Thank you. Aloha.
Hi, I'm Dansetta Fury, and I'm here at Natalie's book signing, and I am so proud of Natalie, and she's my personal spiritual coach, and I want to share her with everybody because she's fabulous. She has made such a difference in my life, lots of aha moments in my own personal life, and I hope you have an opportunity to talk with her, call her, meet her, email her, and experience her for yourself, because you will find that she is one of a million. Thank you.
It's such an honor to be here at Natalie Kawai's book launch. I've known her for over a year, and one of the things that struck me most about her is her incredible kindness and compassion. And she's so humble. You know, she really, when she speaks, it's from the heart and it's genuine. And her message tonight to all of us about the missing piece of ourselves really resonated with me and also with the other attendees. And I can't wait to read her book, Conversations with the Mother Goddess. I hope that you'll pick up a copy, and aloha.
Hi, I'm Tara Long, and I have been friends with Miss Natalie Kawai for several years now. And right away when I met her, I could just feel her sincerity. I could feel her heart. So the work that she does in helping to open other people's hearts, I can feel that in her right away. So she definitely lives what she teaches, and it's just such an honor for me to know her and be friends with her. So thank you, Natalie.
Natalie is a dear friend of mine. I'm very fortunate to have met her, and on a very interesting way. And what I wanted to say, though, is she's been an amazing friend and also spiritual teacher to me. And I love her dearly, and I highly recommend her to anybody who's looking for something that they're missing in their life, because she will help you find it.
This place is phenomenal.